Over the course of these summer months, I've become a bit of a makeup minimalist. I really cannot remember the last time I reached for an actual foundation or eyeshadow palette. So today I'm going to show you how I get my signature summer look using my favorite makeup from Merit Beauty. And I am super excited to share my new limited edition Tamara's Essential Collection with 5 of my favorite Merit products at 15% off. So a huge thank you to Merit Beauty for partnering with me and allowing me to create my own custom collection. Now I will say it was a little difficult to narrow it down to only 5 products, and I will be applying more than 5 products today, but I will let you know which products are in my collection as we go. Anyway, if this sounds fun to you, throw this video a thumbs up and let's get into it. The first item in my collection had to be Merit's Great Skin Instant Glow Serum. This is a truly unique hydrating glowy serum. It's a bi-phase product. Do you see the layers there? You know, I really don't have another serum quite like this. You give it a good shake to blend it together, and it comes with a pump. And Merit says use 1 pump for oily skin, 2 pumps for normal skin, and 3 pumps for dry skin. So of course I will be using 3 pumps on my 65-year-old very dry skin. Now, all of Merit's products are fragrance-free, vegan, and cruelty-free. My gosh, this feels amazing going on my skin. I'll do it around my eyes, down my neck. So this has 4 types of hyaluronic acid, soothing Japanese threadroot, cacao seed extract, and niacinamide. My skin literally drinks this up, but do you see that beautiful hydrated glow? Now, I am halfway through my second jar, and this will definitely be a repurchase. My newest favorite and the second in my collection is Merit's brand new The Uniform Tinted Mineral SPF 45. I first reviewed this about a month ago in an SPF roundup video. I will link that video below. You know, I review a lot of skin tints and a lot of SPFs, and this is the only tinted mineral SPF that I have tried that gives me the light coverage of an actual skin tint and the broad spectrum protection of an SPF. Truly a multitasking one and done product. It comes in an elegant squeezy tube with a pump. This contains 50 ml, so you do get a lot of product. Ingredients include 15% non-nano zinc oxide, as well as lightweight, fast-absorbing emollients that are great for sensitive skin and non-comedogenic. And the shade selection is really, really good. It comes in 15 shades, and I am in the shade 26 Fair Light Cool Neutral. Now, I did measure, and it does require 4 pumps to achieve the SPF of 45. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 pumps on one side of my face so that you can see the coverage difference. So I'll just add another pump to the back of my hand. And oh my gosh, it feels amazing going on the skin. Very, very lightweight. Not at all heavy like so many mineral SPFs can feel. And I do apply it around my eye area. It does not sting my eyes. Make sure I get the full 2 pumps on and work it into my skin. Do you see how fast and easy that blends in? Let me check it in a mirror here so I make sure it's blended in. All right, so here is one side with the tinted SPF compared to no tinted SPF. So I hope that you can see that it does offer just the perfect amount of light coverage, just enough to even my skin tone. Let's get it on the other side of the face with another 2 pumps. Again, if you are to achieve the SPF of 45, you do need to use the correct amount, but you can also use it just as a skin tint over another SPF. Make sure I get it up there. You know, even with the 4 pumps, this does not feel at all heavy. It feels very lightweight, and it does set down quickly to a really pretty satin skin-like finish. But I do need to give this just a couple of minutes to set down, so I'll be right back. All right, it's been about 5 or 10 minutes, and I feel like the tinted SPF has set down to a really nice satin finish with just a touch of radiance. Next up, we have Merit's cult classic, the Minimalist Complexion Perfecting Stick. Now this comes in 30 shades, and I'm going to use the shade Linen as a concealer around my eyes. This is another multitasking product that can be used as a concealer and as an all-over foundation. Just going to apply a little bit where I am dark, inner corner and under my eyes. You can use fingers, brush, or sponge, but I do like to use the warmth of my finger to blend it in. And you know, I really do feel like I got enough coverage from the tinted SPF to even out my skin tone, so I am going to leave it at that. The very first Merit product I purchased years ago is their Cheek Flush, and it remains my most used all-time favorite cream blush to this day. Definitely part of my Essentials collection. It comes in 13 shades, and I use and love most of them. In fact, I will link a video below where I swatched all my shades. But today I am using Bespoke. I picked this up in a mini holiday collection, and you can see how well used and loved it is compared to a newer one. This is just the perfect light, cool, nude taupe to use as a bronzer. So I am going to very generously apply this to sort of warm up my face. And you know, you can blend these with fingers or a brush, but I am going to use a brush. They blend effortlessly. These blushes are literally foolproof. And whatever is on the brush, I'm going to take over my nose. You know, most bronzers are just a little too warm for me, and I really do love the cool nude taupe of, what is this called? Bespoke. However, I do want a little pop of color. And one of my favorite colors for summer has been Lusitano. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna swatch both of these for you. There is Bespoke, and here is Lusitano. It is just a perfect, happy, peachy pink summer color. Now this one I am going to apply the apple of my cheek and sort of high up on my cheekbone. And like I said, you can blend with fingers or a brush. And, oh my gosh, look how pretty that is. And again, I'm sort of taking it over my nose for a nice flush of happy summer color. Moving on to the eyes. Now, Merit doesn't actually make an eyeliner, but their Solo Cream shadows do double duty as an eyeliner. Their Solo Cream shadows come in 8 super long-lasting matte shades. My most used shades have been Studio, a rosy brown, and Social, a really pretty mauve. I think you can see I have a pretty big dent in both of these. And here they are swatched, Studio and Social. And once these set down, they do not budge. But I have shown both of these in so many videos before. So today I am going to use Brun which is a very deep, cool, neutral brown. Now I know it looks a little scary in the pan, but I am going to show you how beautifully it shears out. And here it is swatched. Very deep, perfect for eyeliner. So I am just going to pick up a little smudge brush, and I'm just going to put a little bit on my upper lash line and just a little bit on my lower lash line for a little bit of soft definition. So there is eyeliner, no eyeliner. And get the other eye done. All right. Now, these cream shadows can be applied and blended with fingers or a brush, but because this is so deep, I do want to show you how beautifully it can shear out with a brush. So I'm picking a little bit up with a brush, and then I'm going to, pounce a little bit off so I don't go in too deep. It's better to build up than to get too much on at one time. And these do set fairly quickly, so you do have to work one eye at a time. And again, I'm just applying it in my transition area and my outer corner. And as you can see, even though it looks super dark in the pan, it sheared out really beautifully. Let me get it on the other eye. Just for a little soft definition to my eyes. Now, if I didn't already say, it has a locking mechanism. So when you close the cream shadow, you need to make sure it clicks so it is locked in place, and that will, minimize it drying out. I haven't had any trouble drying out. I think I've had all of these pretty close to 2 years. I almost think the more you use them, the creamier they stay. I keep hoping that Merit adds a shimmer to their solo shadow range because I do like a little shine on my lids. So today I am going to dab on a little of Merit's Day Glow Highlighting Balm in the shade Bounce. Now it's really hard to swatch highlighters, but I hope you can see it's a really pretty rose gold. And again, I'm just going to take a little bit of this with my finger and dab it on my lid for just a little bit of sheen. Yeah, really, really pretty. And of course, it is a highlighter, so why not? It is just one of the most natural looking balmy highlighters ever. It's never too much. So there is the eyeshadow look. Finishing up the eyes with brows and mascara. Now Merit's Brow 1980. Love the tiny wand. I have this in the shade Deep Brown, and it's just the perfect little gel to tint, volumize, and hold. I think it comes in 4 or 5 shades, and like I said, this is in the shade Deep Brown. And of course, mascara. Now, Merit's Clean Lash Mascara is one of my all-time favorite mascaras. It is a tubing mascara, which means it is not going to smudge, it is not going to flake. I love the wand. It's not too big, not too small. And what I really love about this is it gives my lashes just the perfect, very fluffy, very natural looking length and volume without any clumping. So I'm just gonna put that on. Trying to keep my mouth closed when I apply mascara is not easy. All right, so there is pretty much one coat of mascara. I love, like I said, the fluffy looking length and volume. I have gone through so many of these mascaras. I think it's the only high-end mascara that I have in my collection. let me get it on the other side. And last, but absolutely not least, our lips. If you've been with me for a while, you know that my desert island cosmetic is lipstick. Even on no makeup days, I always have color on my lips. So starting with Merit's Signature Lip Liner, again in the shade Bespoke, just to give it a little bit of shape and definition to my lips. And my gosh, this just glides on. Super creamy and blendable, but once it dries down, it doesn't budge. Merit's signature lipsticks are fantastic, and the final item in my collection. It comes in both satin and matte formulas, I think in about 15 shades. Now I do tend to lean a little bit more into the mattes. They are super pigmented, yet incredibly lightweight, not at all drying, and quite long lasting. Some of my most used shades have been MICRONEEDLING, a really pretty mauve, and Sunday, a soft dusty pink. However, I have been wearing the heck out of Vermilion all summer long. It is a beautiful warm red, perfect for summer, and it goes with my top perfectly. Now it is pretty deep, so I am going to apply it lightly. And blend with my finger. Really, really pretty. Now, I do like a little bit of shine, so I am going to add just a little bit of Merit's, what is this called? Merit's Shade Slick. This is in the shade Mapleton, and although it does look really deep, these are really, really sheer lip oils. So this is going to add just a touch of shine, and I'm just going to put a little bit of this in the center of my lips. So here is the final look. Full face of Merit Beauty. Now I think you can see why it was a little bit difficult for me to narrow it down to 5 favorites. But ultimately, my essentials include Merit's Great Skin Instant Glow Serum, the Uniform Tinted Mineral SPF 45, my all-time favorite cream blush, the best natural fluffy mascara, and I had to include a lipstick. My Tamara's Essential Collection is now available at 15% off. No code needed, just use the link in the description box below. Shipping is free on orders over $40, and Merit always includes their darling corduroy signature bag with every first order. And once again, a huge thank you to Merit for partnering with me, allowing me to create this collection, and for sponsoring today's video. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. That really helps support my channel, which I very, very much appreciate. And with that, have yourself a wonderful day, and I hope to see you in my next video.